everyone. Welcome to the Newsmakers podcast and videocast series. Today, we're joined by Todd Grzybinski of FTL Finance to talk about how contractors should be using financing for homeowners, and maybe more importantly, what homeowners are expecting. Thanks for joining us, Todd.
Welcome. Thank you for having me.
Obviously, financing important for HVAC contractors to offer. I guess the first question up would be, how do contractors get involved in that? How do they set it up at their company?
Well, they should have a couple of different options or opportunities to do so, whether it's through their manufacturer of whatever line of equipment they're offering. It could also be through distributors. I know FTL, we work through distributors in order to get access to contractors. So contractors should have that opportunity with distributors. If they belong to any type of associations, whether it's through PHCC or ACA or Service Nation or Service Titan, any of those types of tools that contractors use, they should have some opportunity to contact their rep within those organizations or manufacturers to get access to finance companies.
Okay. And maybe it makes sense to back up just a little bit. Maybe I'm just assuming everyone knows why they should offer financing and what the advantages are. Can you kind of go walk us through that? How does that help close sales and make more money? I'm assuming the ticket price goes up when you can finance
Yeah,
it over X amount of months.
absolutely. Contractors typically, on average, close about 35% more jobs when they offer financing, along with the ability to close more jobs. They also have the ability to upsell. So in the event that they're offering, maybe a lower tier system, they can offer a higher tier system, a higher tier system. Um, and so it allows them the ability to not only close more sales, but then also increase those sales amounts. Um, on top of that, you have the last couple of years inflation with the cost of equipment going up. It's in the last 3 years, I believe on average, it's depending on manufacturer, increased between 20 and 30% across the market. So 6,000, 7,000 system 3 4 years ago is almost $10,000 today, and that's just a single system. So when you get into dual zone, you could see up to $20,000 for a replacement. So that is not the type of money that families have today, especially with all of the other increase in food costs, gas. It's just the family today is really pinched by, their outgoing money.
And to your point, when people buy an air conditioner or a furnace, a lot of times it wasn't expected, right? When you're financing other things, a house, a car, you kind of know, hey, my lease is up. I'm going to need that car in 6 months or
Yeah.
whatever. But just you wake up one day and your air conditioner is not working. So that kind of maybe talks about the importance of financing as well.
Yeah, the emergency situation that you're really thrown into, it's unexpected. You If you do have the money set aside or you do have availability on maybe a home equity line of credit, you're typically we're not wanting to use it to replace your HVAC system. It's not like you could go on a vacation to use that money or whatever. So now you're really limited to what your options are as a consumer. And so when a contractor comes in and has financing options for you, it just makes the experience so much better and a little bit more at ease for the consumer. But yeah, buying HVAC systems, it's like buying tires for your car. You just don't want to do it, but you have to.
Right.
So
In our survey, we did a survey with contractors and homeowners who were trying to find what the disconnect is, and where contractors can learn a little bit from homeowners to help them do the sale. And they said, and obviously everyone wants to pay less rather than more, but when financing, they say, we're willing to pay $100 to $300. What is the average amount? Obviously, it depends on what system you're purchasing, but kind of walk us through the options that contractors can offer.
yeah, there are quite a bit of different options. Again, certain manufacturers, they have relationships with finance companies, and so depending on what type of equipment and what efficiency of equipment, typically higher efficiency equipment has a little bit better options for you, like 60-month equal payment, or they may offer a 24-month same as cash. So those types of options are really appealing for consumers. Also now, today you can finance a system as long as 10 years. So your monthly payment could be as low as $120 a month, depending on the type of system, if you're willing to go out 10 years. And there are even some finance companies that go 15 years. So the options for consumers, the contractors giving those options to consumers, again, it is based on manufacturer, it is based on equipment and efficiency of equipment, but there are multiple options that you have from a contractor standpoint to offer those to the consumer.
Any advice on the kitchen table selling process with financing? Do you offer, X amount of options? Hey, you just offer three. No, offer every option. Give them
Yeah,
the cash price. Kind of walk us through that, please.
yeah, you don't want to overwhelm the consumer. And I would tell contractors, you know, it, not really to offer a cash price, because you're going to have customers that are going to pay it up front anyway. Uh, but there are certain costs that are associated with other financing options. So, for instance, contractors may have a fee associated with offering an equal payment program. They may have a fee offering a 12-month savings cash program. So you want to offer the consumer, hey, here what it costs you to pay it outright. I wouldn't discount, if I'm a contractor, I wouldn't discount that because that consumer may want these other more expensive programs. And the one thing that you cannot do as a contractor is then charge that consumer for choosing those programs. So you kind of want to go in with a blended, have a blended inflationary price across all products, even if you're taking a credit card, because those contractors are going to be on the hook for that swipe fee, could be anywhere from 2 to 3%. So, the cash price is nice, but you also want to be able to just blend it into all the costs of all those programs into your pitch at the kitchen table. And again, the consumer today more and more are just getting they want to know what the monthly payment is going to be. So going in with a monthly payment with all those different options, probably better than going into with the full ticket price. Obviously they have to disclose the full ticket price, but when you're across that kitchen table, hey, this is going to cost you, if you do this program, it's going to cost you, $120 a month. This one's going to cost you 90. This one might cost you 70. So lead in with the different products, but I would lead in with that as a monthly payment and not so much as the ticket item itself.
What does it cost contractors, either time or money to offer financing, or can it be actually something that brings in additional revenue?
Um, say rephrase, yeah, kind of rephrase that
Sure.
one.
If by offering financing, is it going to be a cost to the contractor? Hey, I'm actually getting my profit margin a little bit less because I'm offering financing, or is it something, or maybe they can increase their profit margin? Obviously, take sales out of it. I'm talking about like increase in sales. I'm talking about just on one sale. Can it make them more money, or is it always going to make them less money?
No, it can make them more money. Be it can make them more money because there are financing programs that are zero cost to the contractor. So there's always ability for that contractor to make money on the financing if he does select or choose to offer, a promotional product. Goes back to my earlier comment where I said, if you can blend in those to all of your offerings to your customer, the contractor will almost, I mean, always make money. If he blends in his cost of products into every offering, he's going to make money. And again, there's always those free programs that most finance companies have that the contractor can offer. If he's, as to your point, certain contractors, they do have a certain margin, and whether they're in depending on the region they're in or competition in their area, their margins may be smaller. So that ability to market that to that consumer is important.
And then how do interest rates factor in regard to selling? Obviously, does it make it a little bit tougher, or is it a little bit like how inflation was? Everyone just kind of expects it because it's in the news so much that it's kind of baked in.
Yeah, it I think it's getting more and more expected because you do hear, when the Fed increases rates, every quarter, most consumers are aware of it, but there are some consumers that are not, and they think that, oh, why am I paying 12% or 13% for this loan? That seems high. Not really. When the banks are having to pay 5.5% and 6%, finance companies are also having to pay that and then also keep their margins too. So just as equipment costs go up and contractors increase their price, when rates go up, finance companies have to increase their prices as well as it's all affected on the rate. The margin of the rate is the only way the finance company typically makes money, especially when those programs they're offering are no contractor costs.
Sure. Well, Todd, really appreciate the time you spent with us today. Just want to kind of get you out on this question. FTL Finance, maybe tell our listeners a little bit about it, and if they're more interested in learning more, where should they be going?
Yeah, you can actually absolutely go to the website, ftlfinance.com. We're also LinkedIn, Facebook. I know a lot of contractors utilize Facebook for their, we're also on Facebook. But yeah, FTL Finance in particular, we tend to focus on the smaller contractor that may not have options. And we didn't really touch on that, but the size of contractor also limits their options on financing. But we do not have any barriers to entry for contractors. We typically accept all contractors. We do not have limitations on years in business or anything like that. So we typically are really, really good with the smaller contractor. However, the larger contractor who utilizes, a big bank, we will supplement that financing source for them. So if their customer does get declined through their primary financing source, FTL typically supplements very well in that order of the consumer gets declined from the primary one. This is secondary one.
Okay. Well, I was going to let you out, Todd, but then
Yeah,
you raised an important point that I kind of want to go to. So it's the size of the HVC contract can affect either if they get financing or the rates at which they do. Is that just they don't want to take a bet
correct.
on a smaller guy?
Correct. Yeah, your bigger finance companies, they may have a minimum requirement of sales for that contractor, so they may be required to have a $5 million in sales. They also, if you are with a larger finance company and you do not meet the minimums as far as application volume or the minimums of an approval rate, you're limited on what those larger finance companies that you can utilize. Smaller finance companies typically do not have those minimums, so we don't have a minimum sale requirement. So if you sell 500,000 a year or $1 million a year in sales, you're still going to be able to utilize financing products through FTL. So
Okay, it's good. No, it's interesting because really 5 million is a pretty high minimum.
it's a big number. I mean, and some of them are cut. Some of them are $1 million. But then when they're $1 million, and then the bigger finance companies don't see the volume of applications, then they just, for them, it's not a big deal to just cut them off. So that's kind of the thing. That's where we come in to like those underneath, and we can supplement those bigger finance companies.
Gotcha. All right, Todd. Well, thanks for kind of walking us through a pretty important topic for HVC contractors and kind of educating us. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.